My name is Bob, and I'm looking to get into Bitcoin. I'm really enjoying your show. The reason I'm writing to ask you about Bitcoin is because it's clear from your show that one of the main concerns is liberty. It's absolutely correct. I'm up in Canada, and as you can see, privacy is getting more and more important every day. I got a real kick out of the response from Nunchuk to my provincial court. If you guys don't understand that reference, that's when Nunchuk, this company, basically told the Canadian government, hey, listen, we don't have access to that Bitcoin, etc., etc. Is that a good place to start? I read about Samurai Wallet. Is that a better option? I have no idea. I understand I should create a node first. Anyways, I'm a complete noob. Any pointers would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for your time. Take care, fellow pleb, Bob. Excellent question. A lot of stuff to unpack there. Okay, so first and foremost, first thing that you should do is take self-custody of your Bitcoin. A lot of people get caught up with the privacy stuff. The most important thing, number one thing that matters, is taking sole possession of your Bitcoin. That means buying a hardware wallet and, writing down those 24 words that the hardware wallet, randomly generates for you, right? And you put those 24 words in a very safe place. Ideally, you'd like to back them up in metal, just in case if you want to be super hardcore. And then take all your Bitcoin off exchanges, put it on there. Now, I'll get to privacy last. The reason that you'd want to run a node is if you are using that hardware wallet and you're connecting Ledger to like Ledger Live, or you're connecting Ledger to Electrum server, right? Or you're connecting Ledger to any one of a Blue Wallet. If you're not using your node, you're using their node, meaning you're exposing all of your Bitcoin addresses to them so that they could theoretically know, they could surmise by, okay, this person has this much Bitcoin and I know his IP address. If you run your own node and you connect it to one of the many software wallets which connects to your ledger, you're not trusting anybody. No one knows what your addresses are. In fact, when you send a transaction, you're sending that transaction through Tor, so no one even knows where that transaction occurred from, right? So there's two things. And then the privacy stuff, listen, I think it's important. It's good to, I guess if you are privacy centric. Personally, I just worry about taking self-custody. I definitely worry about running my own node. If you wanted to do some shady stuff on the internet, perhaps maybe privacy thing could be more important. I think in this moment in time, though, if you properly self-custody your Bitcoin, you take advantage of multi-sig, of separating your seeds in different geographical jurisdictions, I think that is the most important thing to do. But anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts on this? To Bob.
To Bob. Yes, to Bob, of course. Okay, so for the node, look, you gave a lot of great advice with the, the hardware wallet, self-sovereignty, so I'm not going to go over, taking self-custody of your Bitcoin, so I'm not going to go over that piece. But in terms of a node, a lot of times people get confused because there's so many different node flavors and they want to know what the differences are. At the end of the day, it's really going to be a matter of partially your technical capability, number one. Number two, the price point that you're willing to pay. Number three, the type of user experience that you want to have. So, in my case, I run a MyNode. I also run a Raspberry Blitz. I also run an Umbrel. I also run an Embassy. Just because I like to run all these different flavors of nodes and I enjoy going through all the different, user experiences. I would say for, someone who's a total noob, I would probably, suggest something like a MyNode. But now moving on to the privacy aspect. So look, privacy is really difficult because it really is also a matter of your capability, your preference, and how much commitment you're really willing to make to privacy, because privacy is not that simple, right? Like we obviously, we see a lot of privacy LARPing and stuff like that, because people are online and they're talking about privacy, which is fantastic. We can't not talk about it. It's very important and we should absolutely have a right to it. But at the same time, it's very difficult. So you have to decide what degree of privacy you're going to have and how comfortable you are with it. I think, to me anyways, that's the best answer I can go to sleep with at night.
And one of the best ways, if you're really concerned about privacy, instead of thinking about the coin joins and all that, run your own node. Like that already, you're 90% good at that point, right? If you want to put a tinfoil hat and you're really, really privacy centric, then perhaps you can go into the coin joins and stuff. But just by the mere fact of taking self-custody and running your own node, that is already in itself a lot of privacy, because once you run your own node, people don't know who you're transacting with. They have no idea, right? They don't even know if you own those keys per se, right? But anyways, the crypto couple, what are your thoughts on this question by Bob?
Well, the fact that Bob is a
noob
talking
about a node,
but is already talking about nodes,
like good for you, Bob.
Privacy, like Bob, wink, wink. You are like already so far
Hardly
ahead.
A noob.
Like even a lot of Bitcoiners. Like, does Bob not even own any coins yet? Because if so, this is even more impressive.
Now I'm suspicious, honestly.
And now I'm like, is Bob a spook? I don't know.
Just kidding.
I'm kidding. But no, I think that just, you guys nailed it, first of all. The biggest thing I would say, like, at least for me when I was getting started out, was I want to try to figure out what is the easiest way that I can get like a minimum viable product in terms of security, right? Like, how can I, as I'm starting out, and especially maybe I'm not putting in too much right away. I'm putting in, maybe it's, a few bucks a week.
And this is fairly recent.
But I have a stack of different hardware wallets because
like 2 years.
Like to play around with them over the course of the last several years, and it's fun. In terms of nodes, I run an Umbrel, but I started with a Raspberry Blitz, similarly to you, just because I thought that it's a really cool way to actually like get my hands dirty with
and
this.
We just had one laying around.
And yeah, I happened to have picked up a couple of Raspberry Pis before there was a big shortage of them, because I was like, people might need these. But I think, Bob, the fact that you are already asking these questions and that you're already thinking about not just, okay, how do I buy Bitcoin, but how do I securely custody? How do I securely verify my Bitcoin? You are already multiple steps ahead, Bob. So you're already on the right track. Best thing you could do would just, number one thing, get yourself a hardware wallet, and you're already further ahead, than most people will be.
And then one thing I want to add to that is just to remember to do like security reviews every once in a while, because for the most part, he handles a lot of that. And then like we'll go and have review sessions where like I'll go through things like on certain weekends. But it's just good to keep a refresher, because it's steps, it's stuff. You're fully responsible for that. If you mess it up, it's on you. So it's in your best interest to just, keep training on it.
Self-custody is amazing. Like, it is incredible that we have, for the first time in history, an asset that is unconfiscatable. We just got back from the unconfiscatable conference, so that word is still in my head, But this is something that you can truly have custody over, like no other asset that you own. You can name any asset. You cannot own it the same way that you truly own Bitcoin. But with great power comes great responsibility. So you have to make sure, don't overcomplicate your setup and end up screwing yourself over. Keep it simple, stupid at first, do what you need to do. But Bob, the fact that you're already asking about these things, which are not complex to set up, but are complex things to start to think about, like nodes, like self-custody, like other deeper privacy things, coin joins. You're on the great path already. But
yeah,
Bob.
Bob, exactly. Bob, you heard it. I hope we answered your question, brother.